The tenets of the Maidenless are as such. Thou must have no maiden. Reject Melina and all that she offers. Thou cannot level up. Thou cannot use torrent. Thou cannot access the Roundtable Hold. And thou cannot use the Spirit Calling Bell. The path of the Maidenless leads many to madness. But there is one such warrior who has obtained the great runes of the demigods, and was still forbidden entry to Lanedale. Yet he endured. Warping between the fabric, he entered the capital and slew its guardians. However, despite Morgoth's death, the seals remained unbroken. Now the warrior continues his struggle against the madness.
Even the wrong warp glitch won't help me now. To reach the mountaintop of the giants, I must use a more dangerous technique. The zip glitch. If I simply raise my blade aloft as if to block a blow, I need only take a single step forward and... Ah, shit. I was at this for about 6 hours when suddenly I hit a stroke of luck. And this is where the panic set in. You see, I had to find a grace before I died, otherwise I would have to do this glitch all over again. Luckily, I made it to a stake of Marika, because damn, I was ready to end my run right there. From here I wrong-warped up the Lift of Rold, not even needing the medallion from Melina.
May chaos take the world! May chaos take the world!
I'll think on it. The Mountaintops had little I needed, and so I simply made my way to the fire giant. Every attack from this ugly bastard would take me down in a single blow. I guess it's about time we reached that point in the run. I had a bit of a plan going into this fight. I'd use Scarlet Rot arrows in the first phase and wait out the second. It was at this time I learned that if the boss goes into a cutscene, they lose all status ailments. Kinda bullshit if you ask me. Phase 2 of this fight proved to be exceptionally difficult. Some of these moves were meant to be dodged on torrent and I was left floundering. That's when I decided to bring my friend Alexander in. And with his help, the Fell God had fallen. Oh, thank fucking God. I approached the Forge of the Giants, and just as I thought, Melina would be of no use here. In spite of this, I delved beneath the capital and slew Moog in search of the Frenzied Flame, only to be met with another seal of Morgoth. I tried everything I could. I wrong-warped to the back entrance and attempted to zip in, only to be met with failure and wasted hours. Rage began to burn within my heart, a flame void of grace or frenzy. The game provides no method to burn the Erdtree in a world as broken as mine, but I am not bound by such petty systems. FromSoft, you gave me the illusion of choice, and so I reject your reality.
And substitute my own.
Man, I don't feel so good. I've used too many glitches. I had to wrong warp to get here too. Well, I guess Godskin Duo is next. Boy, I'm not looking forward to that. To be honest, I never really fought them as a duo because of my Mimic tier. But luckily in this run, I can still bring a friend. Big Bro Bernal. This guy taught me Ashes of War all the way back in Limgrave Village. Now we fight together. At this point in the game, I started to do practice runs where I just watched the AI and limit test my build. I was back to being able to survive some attacks, giving me some leeway in the fight, but Bernal was an absolute tank, pulling one foreskin twin off of me so I could resume a fair fight. Even then, the battle got too chaotic to handle. When I finally felt ready, I pulled out my real strat, sleep arrows. You thought this would be 2v1 against me? No. Remember, there are always two, a master and an apprentice, and there is no room for the pair of you. Now the fight was a breeze for us. In the end there, we were pretty much just bullying them. Somehow, this fight was actually one of my favorites in this run. You know, that was so fun. Why don't we go hunting again, Bernal? This was fun.
Well, until we meet again.
May chaos take the world. May chaos take the world!
Don't fret. Their deaths had purpose. I needed to kill them in order to access Rhykard, so I could obtain the blasphemous claw. Where are you hiding it, you slippery snake?
Is that all? A gimmick boss through and through.
Big Bro Bernal. I should have expected it to be you. Now, with the blasphemous claw, we can take down Maliketh. If I can fucking get to phase 2. I'm back to being one shot, and it's a little difficult learning the second phase when you're having so much trouble with the first. After a couple hours of chatter from the stream, link in description, recommended I try out the Flame of the Redmane's Ash of War. Supposedly it does insane posture damage. Sure, I'll indulge them. With the power of my inner flame, Maliketh was on his knees,
And destined death was mine.
To kill what?
God.
You are fated to die in obscurity.
Maidenless.
Foolish.
May chaos take the world!
Well, until we meet again.
Struggler, thou hast killed thy maidenless brothers. Thou hast burned the Erdtree just as the gods willed. Thine heart has burned to ash. Thou art an incel, and I will bringeth an end to thy struggle. Now hold still.
I never liked him anyway. It's been a long journey, but it's almost at its end. Only a few stand in my way.
Ah, I knew you'd come to stand before the Elden Ring, to become Elden Lord. What a sad state of affairs.
I don't believe we've met. What do you want from me?
Continue to struggle. Unto eternity. You fought well until now.
I had nearly forgotten this fight entirely, and I never considered it a threat. Perhaps the 1.04 updates ended up buffing Gideon's spells. The sorcerer blocked my path longer than I had hoped, but using Carrion Retaliation allowed me to survive the spell spam and chip away at him. This was by far the most tedious fight of the run, playing purely reactively to Gideon. In a way, it was fun. It left me time to think. A lot of time. After putting this wannabe Vati in the grave,
Take that theory with a grain of salt.
it was time for a real challenge. Godfrey, my old friend, we meet again. Shall I stomp you into the ground once more? Okay, I guess he's leveled up. The main issue is how tanky he is. When a single misstep leads to death, a long fight means more time to make mistakes. It took me about an hour before I even reached the second phase. When the fuck is phase 2? Man, that's brutal even for me. I tried to play passive so that I could learn his moves, but that didn't last too long, unfortunately. I was barely able to learn each time I got to the second phase. It was hard just to see what the fuck was going on. What the fuck? This fight was the epitome of a get good moment. I simply had to try again and again until I was victorious. I ended up learning that this boss has 4 distinct phases. The first was easiest to get my attacks in and use my flame to proc a critical attack on him. It took 3 uses of my flame to stagger Godfrey, so I attempted to hit him twice just before changing phases, so I had more room to control the pace of the fight.
Tarnished. Thy strength befits a crown.
I got incredibly lucky at the end there. What an awful time for a frame drop. Our journey is nigh complete. We have but one boss to go. Radagon. Has a maidenless Tarnished ever stood before you? Allow me to put an end to Marika's struggle. This was gonna be a tough fight. I knew I couldn't just beat Radagon because of the second phase. I had to master him. I started off limit testing and learning his patterns, but I knew I'd need to switch to the flame of red mains to stagger the Elden Beast. It took some time getting used to. Fuck this move in particular. Somehow, even at the end of the game, I wasn't getting one-shot by most attacks. But to be honest, it didn't matter. With enough practice, I found the perfect routine to take down Radagon consistently. And now on to the Elden Beast. Surprisingly, I did extremely well on my first go at it, dying because I was unable to stop the Elden Stars. I don't have enough. I need more damage. I'm sorry. This better be worth it. My final build was focused on pure damage. Get through Radagon as quick as possible, and the Elden Beast will follow. I couldn't just hope for good RNG from the AI. I had to learn everything. I had to dodge everything. And I had to become
The Maidenless Lord.
Without Melina, the only other ending I can get is Ranni's, but this is a Maidenless run. All we have is a fractured world.
The fallen leaves tell a story of how a Tarnished became Elden Lord. In our home, across the fog, the lands between.
An age of fracture.
Wait. It takes me to the Roundtable. I can get the Spirit Calling Bell. Use bell bearings. Everyone is alive. At least everyone that matters. No. That's not quite right. What have I done? I may be Lord, but of what? This world has nothing left for me.
Perhaps visit another.
You're alive?
Death is not so simple. This can't be undone. This world is beyond fracture, and thou art beyond redemption. Thy companions were but thine pawns. Didst thee think it would end? Struggle is eternal. There is a legend of one far to the north, who would aid those who struggle against a god. Perhaps thee can live with thyself by aiding others. Thou must continue on, for thou art the struggler.
Thank you everyone for joining me on this journey. Like, subscribe, and I'll be bringing more stories like this one in the future. This run took me 69 hours total, but a lot of that time went into finding glitches and recording footage. If any of you have any questions about the run, feel free to ask in the comments. I read them all. Now if you don't mind, the struggler needs to rest.
Until part 4.
What?